Hey guys, here's going to be a short video on how to do some calculations for homework 4. Go ahead and pause the video and read through the problem description if you need to. We are asked to calculate mu of x, that's the mean of x, the variance of x, and then the standard deviation of x. X is our random variable, it's the number of radios sold over the weeks. First things first, I'm going to use Excel to do these calculations, and I'm going to pull out the important information that's given to me in the problem. Okay, so I'm going to figure out what the distribution of x is. This stats course is all about distribution of variables. Short, simple definition of distribution. Just tells us the values that x takes on, how often it takes those values on. Okay, so we're told here, we're looking at 100 weeks, 7 weeks, no radios were sold. Okay, so 7 out of 100, that's 7% of the time, no radios were sold. I'm going to bring up, this is an Excel document. You can just use a blank one, but this one will help me explain what I'm doing. So 7 out of the 100 weeks, no radios were sold. That's 7%. Okay. 25 weeks with 1 radio sold. So 25 out of 100, that's 25% of the time, 1 radio is sold. Go back. 1 radio is sold 25% of the time. I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest in. You do the same. Okay, I filled in the rest of the values that x takes on and how often it takes them on. For this to be a valid probability distribution, recall that all of my probabilities must sum up to 1. And they do. Okay. Okay, so part A, we've got our probability distribution. Part A says now find the mean of this distribution. So on average, how many radios are sold per week? So I just copied and pasted this formula from the textbook. Okay, so it's kind of ugly though. How do we actually use it? That's what this video is for. I'm going to sum up all of my x times p of x's. Well, let's first just do x times p of x. You can do equals. This is my x times p of x. Hit enter. And I want to do that for each x times p of x. And you can actually just go ahead and drag that formula down, x times p of x. And we're going to sum those. That fancy sigma means sum all of these up. Equals the sum those 2.12 on average radios sold per week. If you want to skip some of those intermediate calculations, there's a formula in Excel to do this average calculation very quickly. It's called the sum product. It's going to sum together a product of numbers. So what I mean, we choose 2 arrays. I want each element in this array multiplied times each element in this array, and then sum them together. Okay. Hit enter, and we get the exact same answer. So this sum product formula is exactly what this is, summing together products of numbers. Okay, so that's answer for part A. Next, they want what's the variance of x. Again, I copied and pasted the formula from the book. What does this mean though? One step at a time, we use Excel as our calculator. Go ahead and start equals with parentheses. Following this formula, I'm going to take my x, 0, and then I subtract mu of x. Mu of x is down here. I can use either one, 2.12. Okay, and then we square that term, raised to the second, and multiply it times the probability of that x occurring. 0 occurs with 7% probability. Hit enter. Okay, we'll worry about the summing them all up later. So we'll just first do this calculation. I have it typed up here. Again, if you want to see it slowly, parentheses, the x value, 1, minus the mean, square that, multiplied times the probability of one occurring, 0.25. If you don't want to continue typing it all throughout, we can go ahead and drag it down. We just need to lock my mean formula, F4. Now when I drag it down, those cells move, but I stick with the mean cell, and that's what I want. Now we just need to sum all of those pieces together. Equals sum of those cells. Okay, so that's for part B. Last thing, we just need the standard deviation. Well, this is pretty simple. The standard deviation, sigma of x, is really just the square root of the variance. So simple calculation. Excel even has a square root function, sqrt, takes the square root of a number. I want the square root of my variance.